So we are going to talk creatives. We're going to get a little bit more exciting than PLTVs and DMA and talk about what I think is the fun part of what we do in marketing, which is all of the creative aspects that go into it. So, and specifically around YouTube. So before we were talking a little bit more about universal app campaigns, and Amit is from the YouTube team. So introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amit Pande, lead product manager for app campaigns on YouTube.
This is super exciting for me because there is, I personally have had a lot of success when I was at Riot with YouTube on so many different aspects. So thank you again, 5 stars to you for everything that you did for us over at Riot. So with everything going on in how UA is changing and targeting, creatives are just so incredibly important into what we're doing. So we'll hit a couple of best practices. What's great is we're going to go into a lot of specifics that you can take away and go back to your team and give them things to do. So let's just kick it off at a high level. So from my perspective, it seems like shorts are the new in thing. You've got TikTok, you've got Reels, you've got even YouTube Shorts, which seem to be doing incredibly well. I try to cover it on the podcast all the time. So from your perspective, you know, what do you think is going on here? Like, what's the secret sauce with all of this ad format, and what can we take away?
Yeah. As you mentioned, Jen, user behaviors are constantly changing, especially with global youth. These users were born digital. They have short attention span. They don't respond as well to traditional advertising. And even on YouTube, one of the trends we're seeing globally is, as you mentioned, YouTube Shorts is becoming so incredibly popular. We are now seeing more than 70 billion daily views worldwide. And with that change, we're also seeing advertisers adapting their creative best practices. In fact, one of the surveys we ran, more than 80% of advertisers said that they are generating assets and creatives which are tailored for short-form video platforms. And as you think about generating creatives for these short-form video platforms, there are 3 key things to keep in mind. First, make the ad experience feel more native, especially with these short-form video platforms being vertical. Make sure that your assets are vertical and they blend well with the rest of the organic experience. Second, these are optional watch surfaces. Users are highly engaged. So it's really important to land your message in that first 2 to 3 seconds to create that impact and get the best performance out of these creatives. Thirdly, one of the trends that we've been noticing is advertisers are partnering with influencers to create more authentic and native experiences. These ads feel more relatable, more engaging, and that's one of the new trends that is more appealing to this global youth.
So with UGC, what was really interesting, I'll do a story time, is, sorry, a lot of it's Riot stories, so forgive me. But we did 2 different things with UGC at Riot. One of them was we had noticed that there was a particular ad that was doing really well. It was animated, and it was, let's teach you how to play League of Legends. It was funny. It was almost as if it wasn't an ad. It was content. And it wasn't. It was done by a creator. And so we actually reached, we reached out to that creator and said, hey, can we work with you to create content for us? When we were launching TFT, we actually had them create a how to play TFT video with that same humor, and it became our best performing asset of all of the assets was this particular asset. The other thing we did was, so that was like an animated short, like, hey, somebody create a fun piece of content. And we did that regionally, by the way. So in Korea, we would have a dancing penguin, and then what we did was we talked to influencers and had them create their face on a video. And one of the interesting things, we not only ran that as YouTube ads, but we also ran that inside of the Google Play Store instead of our ASO video. And we found that that was just, it converted incredibly well. It had to be localized. You had to have the Brazilian influencer in Brazil, for example. So I mean, obviously, we saw success. Are you seeing other people kind of have success in that vein with UGC creators?
Yeah, we are seeing pretty massive adoption as people are starting to tailor their ads specifically for short-form video platforms. More and more of them are partnering with influencers. They're seeing significantly higher performance on these platforms by creating these native ads experiences.
Got it. So on creative strategy, so as I thought about creative strategy, I mean, it's not really changed too much over time. It's been pretty much like, okay, who is your audience? What are their needs? What's your positioning, your messaging, and USP? Hopefully you know this already and you've tested it. Yeah. I don't love testing that in a UA environment, but some people do that. And then you get down to what are some different themes, and you get to executions and trials and all of that. And I think you may have heard some people do it a little bit differently across some of the teams today. As you think about giving advice to people like me and those out here with creative strategy, how do you think about that, and what advice do you have?
Yeah, so Google's network provides massive scale. You can reach billions of users across YouTube, Google Play, Search, our third-party publisher ad network through AdMob. And it's important to deliver the right message to the right user at the right moment. And in order to do that, we recommend 3 things. The first thing is make sure you are treating creatives as the fuel to supercharge your app campaigns. This is the fuel that's going to feed into the AI and the machine learning that will help discover users. So one of the best practices is make sure you are uploading maximum amount of assets that are allowed by the app campaign. So for instance, on Google's platform, we allow you to upload up to 5 text assets, including descriptions and headlines, 5 video assets, 20 video assets, 20 image assets. If you have HTML5 assets, make sure you get those 20 HTML5 assets uploaded. You're following the best practices that we just talked about for short-form video platform, where you're uploading at least 2 to 3 vertical video assets. For these vertical video assets, you're also leaning in and landing your message in that first 2 to 3 seconds. Okay, so this is the fuel that's feeding into the AI engine. The next thing that we do is we use the power of Google's AI to tailor these assets for different placements across Google's inventory. And there's a ton of technology that we apply. For instance, we have AI enhancements, like we'll take your image assets, if they are lower resolution, we will actually upscale your image assets. We will, depending on the experience, say maybe you are on the YouTube feed and you are just scrolling through, we will auto-pan the image asset to make it feel more native and deliver that better performance. We will take your video assets, and if you've only uploaded, say, horizontal video assets, we will actually auto-flip them using our AI technology so that you have vertical assets that feel native to the short-form video platforms. We have a technology called auto-trim, which will take video assets, which are maybe 10, 15, 30, 60-second video assets, and convert them into 6-second bumper video assets that can be used to deliver your message very quickly, either as part of the branded ads or as part of a mid-funnel marketing strategy. Last but not least, like everybody else, we are investing in generative AI, and across the board, we are going to help assist both generate text assets, image assets, video assets. So for your text assets, being able to generate things like descriptions, headlines, and then you have the ability to go in and edit that, but you have that generative AI helping you with that assistive technology. And similarly with image assets, we will auto-generate image assets that you can incorporate as part of your campaigns. Not only that, we are already investing in auto-generating video assets. We, in fact, take the assets that you're uploading to Play Store and auto-generate auto-directive videos that can be used to augment your existing app campaigns, and that can deliver even better performance. Last but not least, one of the key things that we invest in is experimentation. This is very key to figuring out which are the highest performing assets. It's important to make sure you're constantly replacing your low performing assets with high performing assets. And it provides this A/B experimentation platform where you can take your production environment and compare what would it look like if you added a few more assets to it. How does the performance of the campaign actually change? So we highly encourage you to use this platform to continue to figure out which are your top performing assets and replace your low performing assets constantly.
Love it. Yeah, there's so much you can do, and I think when you think about experimentation and you think about the ability to try these different types of assets, it's super helpful to figure out what creative is working for you. Potentially, you could even use it on other platforms as well. So I wanted to talk a little bit about something earlier in the day. We talked about the marriage of performance and brand, and Jamie Berger, who was on stage, was like, I think it's the same thing, and I love that, and I would love if many more people thought that, but most of the people that control the budgets don't think that way. Yeah. They're like, and they actually still think that UA is deterministic and that you can actually kind of like give me all those specific numbers. So how are you thinking about giving the tools to people like me and marketers and UA folks that on the brand side for what we would call brand or awareness-driven, reach-driven, what are some of the tools that you have at disposal for that and what's really working?
Yeah. Let me start with, in fact, one of the things we did was we ran a user survey with advertisers like you to figure out what are the biggest challenges for advertisers that are looking to move to the upper or the mid-funnel strategies. And the two things that really resonated with us was, one, advertisers are looking to increase their reach. Yeah. As they look to move upper in the funnel, they want to be able to reach new audiences that they're unable to reach through lower funnel strategies. And two, the biggest challenge is attribution. Correct? Like, how do I prove to my CMO that the campaign that I'm running is delivering the lower funnel metrics that the CMO really cares about? So at Google, as we think about your marketing strategy, we encourage you to think about the entire funnel, upper, mid, lower funnel marketing strategy. Lower funnel marketing strategy is something you all are very, very familiar, correct? Like, we are trying to show the ad to the users that we think will be most influenced by seeing the ad and will drive those causal conversions that you can use to measure the impact of your performance campaign. The benefit of this is probably the most efficient way of spending your marketing dollars. The downside, though, is you're going to show ads to users that are most likely to be influenced, but we will not show these ads to all users. So there are blind spots in the system. And in order to capture that blind spot, we highly recommend continuing to move upper and mid-funnel. So when we think about mid-funnel, we think about mid-funnel is specifically targeted to show your ads to all users that are likely to convert. Some of them maybe are less causal, but you're going to show the impression, and as long as the user is influenced by the ad, we will drive that mid-funnel conversion. This is especially important as you think about strategies where you're doing things like game launches, correct? Where your goal is to reach as many users as possible and get your message out. And then the third thing is when you think about upper funnel. This is where you want to just continue to expand your audiences. You want to figure out which audiences might resonate with your particular game. This is probably the most efficient way to reach most number of users. Likely not as efficient when we think in terms of cost per conversion, but more efficient when we think about it in terms of cost per each unique user reached. So we recommend combining all three of these strategies. In the upper funnel strategy, you have ability to do audience targeting. So for instance, maybe your game is targeted towards male from age 30 to 45, and you think maybe it could appeal to female from age 30 to 45. Branding is a great way to be able to test that with, let's explore new creatives, create a test campaign with those audiences, and see if it delivers message, it delivers and resonates with that particular audience group. And then ultimately then use that to influence your mid-funnel and lower funnel strategies. So at Google, to enable this full funnel marketing strategy, we have our existing app campaigns that serve the needs for lower funnel. In addition, for upper funnel, on YouTube, we have the brand campaigns, which have been supported for many, many years. But one of the recent changes we made was to enable measuring lower funnel metrics inside of the brand campaigns. So in addition to all the usual metrics that you can measure for your brand campaigns, we are also allowing you to measure the number of installs, the number of in-app conversions that you drive. And this is, again, kind of going back to being able to prove to your CMO that your brand campaigns are actually not only branding campaigns, but also delivering lower funnel conversions. Now, one thing that is very important is when interpreting the results, what you're going to see is you are reaching more users, you're reaching more users more efficiently, but your cost per conversion is likely higher. And that is okay, because the goal of the branding campaign is to help you expand that reach, help you figure out new set of users. And you can continually tune your audiences to figure out which audiences the branding campaign might resonate to. And in addition, it's also delivering that branding effect, where it's not just about user acquisition, it's also trying to re-engage your existing users.
Re-engagement, got it.
In our mid-funnel product suite, we've actually expanded our app campaigns to add support for bumper videos. This has been one of the new additions where we want to make it easier and more efficient for you to be able to reach more users through these short-form, 6-second video ads, which are super cheap, so cost per impression is way lower. Cost per conversion is also way lower. It's kind of fulfilling that mission of mid-funnel and really helping you scale your campaigns, especially helpful at times when you're doing things like game launches. And then in addition, we have added support for unique reach reporting. So when you run these mid-funnel campaigns, you not only can measure your lower funnel metrics, you can also look at how many users you were able to reach, how efficiently you were able to reach those users. And again, those could be key set of metrics that you can show to your leadership.
Nice. So full funnel metrics, you have something for each step of the way. And we didn't actually say this, and hopefully everyone knows, we're talking about YouTube on mobile.
Yes.
Like, so sometimes I think people are so old school and they're like, oh, like when I watch on my computer. But you actually had a stat that most people are viewing YouTube on mobile these days. Just an incredibly high percentage of people. So for everyone who still has a mobile game, even these full funnel metrics can work for you across everything. Cool. Did we leave anything out? Did we get it all in?
I think you covered it all.
We covered it all. Okay. That wraps it up, I think, for the entire day. I think I'll just close it out and say thank you for coming to the Think Games Istanbul Summit from Deconstructor of Fun and Google. Appreciate you guys hanging in all the way to the end here. All right. See you guys.
Thank you.